pockets of resistance all around the planet. We've been fighting a long time. If you're listening to this, you are not alone. You are the resistance.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
His holy temple. God is in his holy temple.
Dad?
Yeah. I just wanted to give my little girl a hug. Oh, hey, your mom and I would like to talk alone.
Go put on your nightie, honey. What's going on, Steph?
Nothing. I just want us to be alone.
Caroline's upset.
Does that feel good?
I should dry her hair.
She's all right. She's safe.
Stephen, come on. Honey.
Is that good?
Honey. Don't. Now.
Why? When?
What do you mean?
Diane, I have needs too.
Well, it seems to me your needs have been fulfilled by the bottle tonight.
Organism Hydra vulgaris and similar organisms. I discovered those in August of 2021, and that was shocking. I've seen them multiple times since then, and this is a favorite organism of Transhumanist because in the lab it is immortal, it does not die, and Transhumanists want to be immortal. So one of the things they would like to do.
Of its founders.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Hey, what's up, guys? Okay, so I've been doing a lot of talking on Rumble
But in the presence of all that, I've missed out on leaving some breadcrumbs on YouTube. But okay, since this is a YouTube only video, we're gonna keep it YTPG. Okay, YouTube friendly. A couple of points I want to hit on. First off, if you haven't seen my last couple of videos, make sure you go to Rumble, check it out. Jam-packed, man, with a lot of information. Them videos is long as hell. I know, I get it. I try to get y'all long videos because I don't make videos every day like I used to. I used to make videos. I used to be working on a video like almost every day. All right. Apologize, man. Like I said, I don't get paid for this, and I still got to work just like every other human being, right? But I want you guys to get over there, check out those videos, man. A lot of important information. I'll give you a little brief overview of some of the stuff in this conversation just because I feel it's relevant. But what I really wanted to hit on, man, I really want to touch on is, guys, like I said before, we were going to see mass exits. See what I'm saying? Like mass exits, like people was going to be leaving her in a flurry. And we're definitely seeing that now. But what I wanted to point out, what's significant about that, guys, is the amount of people that was leaving her in the initial phase, like in the first weeks and months and stuff like that. Guys, what you got to understand, with any type of antidote, okay, you're going to have your casualties, you're going to have your one-offs. And what I mean by that is, like, there's going to be those that are going to succumb to it in the initial stage one, okay, when people first get it and everything. Like, it's going to have the unavoidable unavoidable die-off, right? Where it's like, okay, you really don't want them people to die right away. You don't want that. Like, that's what you really don't want, because then it'd be obvious. So the whole idea was for it to be a thing where it would work over time. I keep on telling y'all that it's supposed to work over time. It was never supposed to be a thing where people walk in and boom, they take it and boom, they gone. That was never supposed to be the thing. And the people that think and thought that are the dumbest people, because those people were easily misled, because they saw one person walk in and come out okay, and they said, okay, I'm gonna go do it too. You see what I'm saying? Like, there was no long-term information that you could put together, no long-term research that you could put together. And the bad thing is, man, is that with the previous schedules and stuff and the walks that they put out before, those all have long-term effects that's outside of the scope of the study parameters. Okay, and the timelines, they purposely set that stuff outside of the parameters so that nobody will notice. Nobody will notice. Like, ain't nobody coming back after 15 years trying to see what effects, the measles walk had on anybody. Ain't nobody coming back trying to see what 10 years look like later of a tetanus. You see what I'm saying? So if you don't have that long-term research and ain't nobody going back following up with them, who knows what happened to these folks that did it? Who knows how they was affected? So you got to understand this, man. Like I tell you, like, if you go watch the videos, man, I put out recently, talking about parasites and stuff, you don't know the long-term life cycles and how these parasites what their habits are like, what they're capable of. We know they're intelligent. We know that this parasites that's potentially connected to hosts that are not of this world. Okay, we know that these parasites have lifespans beyond the normal lifespans of most organisms that we know of. Okay, we know that they got capabilities and stuff that's something like mutant X-Men type crap. We know that they're not normal, and we know that we don't understand them. Understand this, guys. I'm gonna say this. So we're trying to get y'all to understand, think outside the box, outside of what you've been taught. We have been taught certain things and to accept certain things and think it's just that's what it is. Like, for instance, like we talk about the one particular parasite, the Hydra, right? The Hydra parasite, man, it's a remarkable organism, but it's really fascinating what it's capable of doing, right? It's really not much that we know of like it. And somebody gives it a name and say, oh, it's this, it's that. Is it even of this world? First and foremost, we have to ask that question. We're not going to be told that it's not. It could be something else. What we talk, the capabilities of certain organisms and things, we're not told what it is. You see what I'm saying? Just like we're not told what kind of damage certain medications and things might have on your body. You see, so we got to start putting things. We got to start putting things in that type of we got to start putting things in that type of mindset. Like, you can't think that everything that we're told is what it is and that's it. You got to start looking above and beyond and start thinking about some of the stuff that we learning about. Think about what we learning about some of these organisms and stuff. Then that should kind of put you in the mindset about us as human beings or spiritual beings. What are our capabilities? What can we really do? See? But you're not going to be told that, just like you ain't been told about these organisms and the capabilities of what they can do. Okay? You don't know that they can go and, understand?
Deep underground, like I mean, like below deep base deep. Like they need a methane oxygen mix to breathe, and deep underground they got sulfur pools, I guess, that make this stuff. Anyway, they come up underneath the domed bases. The government is complicit with them, basically. Now I have to tell you about the parasitic aspect of the lizards and why the Illuminati and the governments use them, okay? I'm saying this in a nutshell because it's very important. I want to get it all out on your show. Nobody's going to say this for fear of clone torture, remote-controlled death, or death by lizards 1,000 times until you die by a heart attack or something. But I figured I have to tell people because, well, they're getting me there anyway. Like, they eased up lately, asking me not to talk about it anymore, but I'm just going to. Well, the lizards have a thing, okay? They have what's called a proboscis. There's lizards out there today that have a proboscis on their face, okay? These things got it in the middle of their head, okay? And on the top of their head, this is the Vril type 1 and 2. The type 2 have a proboscis sheath that comes out, it sticks out. The type 1s, for instance, it's like a chocolate chip, it looks like, basically the tip of it. Now, at one point in these things' lives, because they have a long lifespan, the lizard species, one point in their life, they can slowly wiggle this thing out, eject it, and it goes into somebody's eyeball, okay, another animal. Now, it wiggles in by the sense of taste. They described this to me so, like, when I was like 18 years old there, and told me about it different times throughout the years of going there. They can bring you there every single night if they want to, and they did bring me there every night. They laughed at me when I said I was going to tell the world about this. They said, nobody's ever going to believe me. You won't put it together in a eloquent way. People will think that technology isn't that advanced yet with cloning, because they just clone the sheep, right? No. They've been cloning people a long time this way. Thing is, the lizard, okay, the thing squiggles in through the eye. It does a spiral around the optic nerve all the way to a certain point, and it's driven there by taste. And they said once it gets there, it has the taste of butterscotch, and then it does a feeling like holding your breath and pushing outwards. And at the tip of this chocolate chip, it then starts what they call sweating the quill. Now, the spinal cord stuff comes out of the spinal cord, out of the chocolate chip thingy, and it's everything that the lizard is. The lizard's whole body is dead. The little lizard thing is dead, and it can't go back in. Can't get back in. It's one way. Once it excretes this stuff, sweats this quill thing, the person's debilitated for an unknown amount of time. I don't know how long. But when they come back, they have to have some recovery time. But when they come back, they are not the person anymore. They are then the lizard. Let me put this to you flatly. The old person's consciousness is gone. The body is absolutely, totally dominated, and the lizard is smarter as a human then, and totally controls everything. Over time, it'll develop a rash, it'll lose its hair. Thing is, these things are all over the place, and they mimic human behavior. In fact, one of their names in the past is Mimic. A lot of the people that you hear about in the news that are getting people and chopping them up in the basement and eating them and stuff, frying them up, these are what they call drones. They're parasited hosts of the lizards. They like to make them. The only thing a drone wants to do is make more, have sex, and torture someone. Like, it's a different kind of mentality. It's hard to explain.
Okay, you don't know that they can go in your mind and take over. You don't know that they can regenerate. Okay, you can chop them up in millions of pieces and they can still reform itself. You don't know that. You don't know that they can be connected to a system, like a neural. They got a neural link system that can connect to Wi-Fi. You don't know that stuff. Well, can human beings be connected to the Wi-Fi? You see what I'm saying? Like, you don't know the capabilities because they're not telling you that. That's by design. We got to learn this stuff on our own. We're only meant to have so much knowledge in order to keep us in place, in order to keep us under their control. We're not supposed to be as smart as we need to be. Okay, just like we're not supposed to have access to the spiritual realm. They don't want us to have access and understand our spiritual capabilities. That's why they want to cut off our spiritual capabilities. It's like if you get a what is it? If you get a bird, you put it in the cage. Why? Because you don't want it to fly away, right? So you put it in a cage and you got the bird forever until you open the cage. So if somebody didn't want us to fly away, what would they do? They would take away our wings. They would take away our ability to fly. Okay, what does fly away for us? Ascending. Ascending to what? To the upper dimensions, to the other level, to the heavens. Okay? Like, I know, guys, a lot of it sound far-fetched, but you got to understand. You got to understand from a spiritual standpoint and also from a intellectual standpoint. You got to expand your mind. That's all I'm trying to get you guys to do, is think outside of the box that they put us in. They put us in a box for a reason. They tell you what you need to know to live in basically in captivity. Tell you what you need to know to live in a world that they designed. Okay? Not for you to escape that world with your mind, with your soul. Okay? It's all part of this matrix that you in. And everything is not what it seems. And we got to look outside the box and get outside the box in order to start grasping real information that really matters. You understand?
The following program contains graphic images that may be disturbing. Parents are advised that these images may not be suitable for young children. Why?
Allow me to introduce you to SETI Alpha 5's only remaining indigenous life form. What do you think? They killed 20 of my people, including my beloved wife. Oh, not all at once. And not instantly, to be sure. You see, their young enter through the ears and wrap themselves around the cerebral cortex. This has the effect of rendering the victim extremely susceptible to suggestion. Later, as they grow, follows madness and death.
Khan, listen to me.
These are pets, of course. Not quite domesticated.
Khan, Captain Kirk was only doing his duty.
I'm starting the segment off by warning you. The video you're about to see is not for the squeamish amongst us. It shows a parasitic worm crawled inside a boy's eye, clearly causing discomfort. So this is a 17-year-old boy from Mexico, ended up losing his sight after this parasite invaded the eye. The worm had been there for 3 weeks.
Adam? Honey? Adam?
He's an unfamiliar host and they act differently. They'll migrate into weird places in your body, like nervous tissue. They get in your eyes and stuff. And
oh, Jesus Christ.
Welcome. Thank you for coming. Welcome to Lodge 49. I'm quite nervous. I don't do a lot of public speaking. But I think I'm supposed to picture you all naked. I'd like to start with a quote from the Rosary of the Philosophers. Wherever we have spoken openly, we have actually said nothing. But where we have written something in code and in pictures, we have concealed the truth.
Blaze, for Christ's sake, you've got something in your nose.
What? Oh. 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 The greatest orgasm of my life.
Illuminati!
Aryans and honorary Aryans, I am pleased to announce that the Vril Society has reported an increase in the flow of Vril energy. Since there has not yet been a reduction in the number of communists, this can only mean that there has been an increase in the number of fascists. Many of you do not understand the mechanics of this, which is why in tonight's transmission I shall briefly attempt to explain Vril. Vril is an invisible force that permeates everything and affects everything, from the smallest particle to the universe itself. Recently, your scientists have begun to realize its existence and have dubbed it the rather appropriate name of dark energy. This term does not completely encompass what Vril is, but it is on the right track. This energy was sensed by our ancestors ever since the first Aryans walked the earth. For reasons that we do not understand, the Aryan race is particularly sensitive to Vril. Although I must note, and this is important, not every Aryan is attuned to Vril, and some non-Aryans are. For example, the Japanese people have frequent Vril attunements, although they have a different name for it, and it also affects them slightly differently. Vril was first fully described and given its name by a remarkable man named Edward Bulwer Lytton in 1871. His book, titled Vril, The Coming Race, finally put to words what mystics and shamans had sensed for millennia, that there is an energy which itself cannot be seen, but which the effects of can be. It is much like gravity in this way. For daring to print this forbidden knowledge, Mr. Lytton was struck down 2 years after publishing The Coming Race, but it was too late. Events had been set into motion that would lead to the formation of the Vril Society and alter the face of the emerging Reich. This in turn would lead to the rise of the Black Sun, the construction of Base 211, and the eventual resistance to the communist madness which we all now face. Very few people can perceive Vril without training, and this is because it has been with you since you were first conceived. It is a trait of all life on Earth that living creatures eventually learn to ignore any stimuli to which they are constantly exposed. You have never not known Vril, and so you cannot define it. Fortunately, it is a law of physics that for every action there is an equal but opposite reaction. Thus, as Vril affects you, you affect Vril, meaning that it can be harnessed and weaponized. So you ask, how does this affect me? And when do I gain paranormal abilities? My friends, it should not be about those things, because that level of Vril attunement is exceedingly rare. The Reich had decades in all of Europe to search for such individuals, and by the end of the war had not even found enough to fully staff Base 211. This does not mean that you are an inferior person. Far from it. Be grateful that your body does not have to endure the excruciating transformations that that level of Vril will induce.
Speaker Ryan, it's the anniversary of the president being elected. How do you think he's doing?
Well, what do you mean? He's great. We're doing great. A lot of people judge him and just see the negative. People don't know how great the president can be behind closed doors. They don't get to see all his good qualities.
Uh-huh. And is that semen on your black eye?
Oh, no, I tripped on a doorknob.
Heard at the top of the program that the former president lashed out again at Republican Senator Mitt Romney, among others, during his CPAC speech last night. But Senator Romney was busy dealing with a bigger problem, one that caused him to go to the hospital. CNN's Ryan Nobles joins us. So what happened?
Well, today Senator Romney came back to Washington, Anderson, and he was visibly beat up, a black eye, several cuts to his lips, and he told reporters that it came after a fall with his children in Boston over the weekend. Romney said that the fall was serious enough that he was knocked unconscious and had to be taken to the hospital. He was given a number of stitches from his eyebrow all the way through his eyelid, but he said he's doing okay. He was not admitted to the hospital, did not have to stay overnight. He was eventually released, but you can see the remnants of this accident all over his face. As I said before, he was beat up pretty bad.
I'm angry at fear. I don't like fear. Fear tolerated is faith contaminated. You see what I'm saying? You're afraid of nothing.
Transformations that are not always welcome.
I know I'd go from rags to riches if you would only say you care. And though my pocket may be empty, I'd be a millionaire. My clothes may still be torn and tattered, but in my heart I'd be a king. Your love is all that ever mattered. It's everything. So open your arms and you'll open the door to every treasure that I'm hoping for. Hold me and kiss me and tell me you're mine evermore. Must I forever be a beggar whose golden dreams will not come true? Or will I go from rags to riches? My fate is up to you. Must I forever be a beggar whose golden dreams will not come true? answers. My fate is up to you.
For you, Vril can serve a far more practical purpose by empowering you. Vril is leadership and inspiration and drive. It can push you forward when everything else seeks to drag you back.
Generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death's construction. In the fields of bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning. Death and hatred to mankind, poisoning their brainwashed minds. Oh, Lord, we'll bow to the first order, and we'll realize at the last day of the Republic.
It electrifies a room with your very presence. The Führer could not move objects with his mind. Il Duce was not telepathic. But who can deny the sheer majesty these men possessed and the fanatical devotion they inspired? You see, high emotional states empower one with Vril, which is why the Vril Society so expertly utilizes the power of desire, and why every fascist empire obsesses over grandeur. These things create high emotional states, which increase Vril, which in turn heightens the emotional state, and so on in an upward spiral. This explains the increase in Vril that we have detected, the recent networking of fascist groups, and the heroic actions of a lone wolf have awakened a devastating force.
And the people sinned a great sin, for they had made them a god of gold.
चमत्कार नहीं दुनिया में तो मानव सेवा ही तुझसे नीतिबद्ध है मानव सेवा ही तुझसे नीतिबद्ध है तू बुद्ध है तू.
People in Thailand worshiping the likeness of Trump. And the strange thing about this is, yeah, I haven't hit the strange thing yet. The strange thing about this is that the people over there, they have a temple that looks like a UFO.
Has nothing to do with diarrhea. Lay off the toilet paper.
These people. And there's lizards there. No, she said demons. Well, some people call them demons. They call themselves demons too. Well.
Anyway, don't get vaccinated. And don't trust your government. They're trying to kill us. Don't trust every truther you hear. Yes, they might be giving you great information, but they're probably, counter opposition. They're probably out there solely just to take your information and see what you say in the comments. They are. Watch their eyes. Their eyes will turn into elongated slits, and they'll have to look away. Some people have lighting anomalies. Like if you have light eyes, I have green eyes. Like if I move my phone around, that's going to happen, but it's very, very different. So what you're going to want to do is watch your truthers on slow motion as large as you can get that picture to go, and as slow as possible, because sometimes it's awfully fast. Amazing Polly's easy to catch because she's got crystal clear blue eyes. the truthers with the blue eyes, easy to catch. It, like, Richie from Boston, catching him took me, like, over a year. I saw somebody say, oh, he's a drag queen, or he's in drag, and so he's actually a woman. I don't know if I believe that. He's got an awfully deep voice for a lady. But who knows? Who knows? There are sideshows with bearded ladies. There are. But he said something, and it just kind of struck a nerve, and I was just like, oh, maybe this person who said Richie was a shapeshifter isn't so wrong. And they do exist. They do. I've seen them shift right in my face. I used to be an artist and work festivals, and somebody shifted in my face. And I wasn't on any drugs or anything. I was actually really, really sick. I was in my tent throwing up, and I got out, and two people shifted in my face, and then they asked me what I thought about it. If they hadn't asked me what I thought about it, I would have checked myself into a mental ward, but they did. And I was terrified and pretended like I didn't see it, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. What am I thinking about? What? I think I want to throw up now. So, they do exist. I don't have all the answers about what they are, but they do have a hydroparasite. They do. And you can absolutely kill that hydroparasite. My one concern is, if you kill the parasites, do you kill the host? I have no idea. I have no clue. All I know is that you will completely immobilize them. I have done this on people at basically point blank range, and they were fine, and they had to start crawling upstairs. They started sweating. They couldn't breathe. It was terrible. I think it was more that not so much they couldn't breathe, but they were like panting in pain. So this works. And when I started retaliating for the radiation in my house, the radiation got worse. That's when they started to gas us. Like, she's one that can see, get her. I've actually never seen that movie, but I can't wait to watch it. I'm kind of too busy with kids to be watching movies. As far as my uploads, they're old. I'm just trying to save them for prosperity, because my YouTube and my library channel got taken down. So, be careful. And these people, they're pretty much all against us. They all are, but we're still going to win. And if you haven't found Jesus, I suggest you do that really quick. He's the only reason why we're alive. And again, if you're feeling sick, scan for EMF. And Merry Christmas. Bye.
Yeah, the lizard thing. They just totally take them over. They do it a lot. It used to be, it's a Luciferian thing. They said that these lizards were the sons of Satan or whatever, Lucifer or whatever. They're not, though. They're just a species of lizard that survived the extinction of the dinosaurs by being way, way underground. I'll just tell you, I know it sounds retarded. The damn things can talk, okay? But they don't have a tongue. I'll tell you about their mouths. It takes a while. Basically, they have a blood spike, okay? This is what they call a chupacabra, too. They come up from underground, different spots all over the world, right? Like worms out of a rotten apple, different spots, and then they infiltrate the society there. But the drones today have erased, well, 100 years ago, erased any existence of these Vril lizards from, like, Egyptian carvings on walls. They would smash them, right? Or books that had anything in them about them, they would burn them. Because drones don't want to get found out and sent off and killed. Like, this is what I thought FEMA camps were for, rounding up drones, because they've been talking about it at the cloning center. This is where they discuss all political, worldly affairs. And they let me sit in, fly on the wall, because they figure nobody's going to ever believe me, that they can clone anybody in. Everybody there is bored of it, the whole technology. It lost the novelty like 10 years ago, right? Yeah, they do that. You know how they cover up their one eye?
Oh, yeah.
That means two things. That means watch out, you don't get the lizard to stick the thing in the eye, or like well, it means a couple different things to different people. It means like don't you only half see things, and I always figured it was the lizard in the eye thing, because I get introduced.
I've seen so many artists in pictures of them doing the triangle around the eye sort of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like you do your thumbs and your index fingers together, and just look through and put your hands together and just look through them like that, and your other fingers sort of look like sun rays coming out, sort of thing. I've seen so many artists do that.
Well, the thing with the pyramid in the eye thing is the whole symbol is a joke. It's once you know what the pyramid is for, then you know when you're pretty much Illuminati. But I'm going to break that whole thing right now. I'm going to ruin it. You got to look on my page and look at the schematics for the pyramid. I explain what it's for. It was basically a Vril trap. It's a giant cockroach trap for Vrils, okay? These little vents that went in, they were at an angle. They were lined with smooth limestone. And anything that went in didn't come out because these crab nasties claws, well, that's why I call them crab nasties, the Vrils. I've been calling them that my whole life. So, these people, you heard about the celebrities selling their souls to the place. So that's what they're doing. They're selling themselves to be used as clones at the cloning center. Now, the thing is, after a while, they have kids. And they want to bring their kids there, too, to induct them into the family, right? They just want to perv on them. And they're all too scared to say no, and they do bring their kids there and mess them all up to keep them memory repressed and just mess with them. And then they do all kinds of stuff with different technologies that they have there. Like I'm trying to, like I know about a bunch of different technologies they have, and I wanted to tell everyone about it, but not enough time on your show to tell about all of it. So I'm trying to tell about the most important things: the cloning lizards. Oh, and the head chips. I didn't tell you about the head chips, but to the Vrils, the 3 different types, the small ones they use to drone people, to host people, because the proboscis on young lizard type 1s, they're small enough to go into an eye and not ruin the eye, right? Because they're supposed to do this to animals with bigger eyeballs, probably freaking dinosaurs. So these lizards, it squiggles in, the thing takes over, total domination, right? Old person dies, and it becomes a totally compliant slave, basically. Does whatever the people want it to do because it's just happy to live life as a human being now, right? It's totally coherent, and it knows that its life is dependent on it mimicking human behavior, so it does really well. Even with other animals, it's smart enough to instinctually mimic the animal's behavior, right? It incorporates that animal's brain to, I don't know, it just takes over in the worst way. It's a parasitic lizard. It's nasty. Now, the head chip thing, man, I know this is a lot. Like, I had to explain about all this stuff, my total disclosure and phases, because I didn't want to lump it all out in at one time for people, because it's
Well, you're afraid they'd think you were crazy? I mean, it doesn't matter, man. I mean, like, as far as most people are concerned, you know, as soon as you opened your mouth, it's insanity. Whereas I don't like to judge people like that after the first word that they say. I like to hear them out. Okay.
Yeah. Well, okay, a bunch of billionaires were scared about dying. They said they were so rich they can make people die, they can start wars, they can do anything in the material world, but once they die, they can't even take it with them. They're just dead, right? So a bunch of billionaires got together and said, we don't want to die, we want to figure out how to live again as clones, right? Thing is, the clone is just like a negative copy of the person, though, so it's not even like the person living. It's a flawed copy.
Like a ghost.
So the thing is, what they do, they devised a way, I don't know how. The thing used to be as big as a circuit board, like that was not an Illuminati symbol, by the way. It's like
about the size of a fist, right?
Yeah, they tested this on a Chinese farmer. They showed me the video clips. Had it sticking out the guy's head and everything. Didn't compensate him, just sent him back home. Said they had to do something to him. They whittled it down so that the microchip is supposedly the size of like just a bit bigger than an apple seed, right? And it can totally, and it's a flawed copy as well, but not as flawed. It can totally hold your mental stuff, right? Everything that you are, basically, but they need babysitters because they go pretty whack. Sometimes they're missing some stuff. It's flawed. But the thing is, just like those lizards do with the eyeball thing and squiggling into the head, rich people can put their stuff on a microchip and set this into somebody's head and basically body snatch them that way as well. And they keep it secret because, of course, you know, everyone, oh, they can do it to clones too, but there's more side effects if you put it into a clone's brain. So they basically body snatch people with chips in the head. And the lizard thing, they tried to convince me that, and others, that it was a worldwide takeover thing, that they had already taken over so much that all was lost, better just go along with it. But that's not true. They're a very, very small part of the population, like under 5% or something.
All right, guys, so check this out, man. Now, y'all remember, if you was watching my video the other day, I was telling y'all that it was something. I was like, man, there's something to that correlation that I was making between the parasite, the demon. Hey guys, real quick, I want to point something out to y'all as well. Something significant I realized, and I'm trying to make some sense of it. Okay, so like back in the day, when people were sick, when people had, you know, illness and stuff, folks would pray for them. They would pray for them. They basically, that was like the medicine was prayer, praying out basically demons, spirits of I can't think of it. It was spirits though. Okay, we get that. If you look at it, a lot of sickness and disease and illness that we have nowadays revolves around parasites. Parasites. The demons, the Dracos, and what have you, they've been trying to put parasites in us that make us sick and also control us. You see what I'm saying? And we know the Dracos to be demons and devils, or descendants of the devil himself. You see what I'm saying? There's something there. There's a correlation. Some of our longest lasting medicine. Those are some of the longest lasting medicines that we've had. They kill parasites. Parasites make us sick. Parasites destroy our body. They're trying to put parasites in us that control us. And this is part of the devil's plan. You see the correlation? Parasites, the devil, sickness, disease. There's something there, guys. Something's really, really odd about that. These parasites they're trying to take over people's souls. With these parasites, they're trying to hack people. Something there, guys. I'm digging into it. I gotta look a little more into this, but it's definitely not what we think. It's something more to that, if you kind of catch my drift. So yeah.
Yo, me and my cat cannot believe this.
She says they are definitely not.
People are shedding Morgellon fibers.
To be eruptions more than scratched areas on their skin.
Dr. Casey has taken numerous fiber samples and says they're unlike anything she's ever seen.
They are not textile. They are not any known substance.
Dr. Casey was amazed by the mysterious fiber on Brian's hand and decided to have it tested. She tugs on it, but the fiber holds firm. Finally, it comes loose.
We took the whole plug of skin with it.
Dr. Casey and her colleague, Dr. Randy Wymore, take the samples to Tulsa's crime lab.
Morgellons fibers are not any known textile, cotton or rayon or nylon, not any of those.
What's more, the fibers don't burn when exposed to high heat.
Have you ever done a fiber that didn't vaporize completely other than the Morgellons fiber?
No.
Вообще капец.
В общем, команда крузероводов обнаружила в местных животных, кузнечиках странные микроорганизмы, да, странные формы. Вот, и мы решили показать это вам.
Какая-то инопланетная.
Странный симбиоз кузнечика и каких-то паразитов. Вот видите, да?
Возможно, живут в нас.
Да, возможно, живут в нас. И смотрите, как много. Это в каждой саранче, в каждом кузнечике.
Смотри, она жрать начинает. Блин, приближаешь.
Они
камерой
отдельно.
надо снимать.
Это не кишки, это отдельные организмы.
Беленькие, черненькие.
Они белые, черные, их очень много.
Блондины.
Я вот переживаю, мы тут пьем воду, так что Алмата может скоро пополниться.
Не только Алмата, но и Москва, и Израиль.
Да, и Израиль.
Более того, даже открыли, почему саранча теперь много ест. Оказывается, она питает не только себя.
А может быть, этот симбиоз был уже давно, поэтому саранча такая прожорливая.
Да. А никто не знал?
Да. Ну, собственно, вот шевеление сюда свет.
Этим объясняется, да, ее
прожорливость. Еще есть.
Как на операции только. Сюда свет.
Все?
Дабы не опрокинется, лучше
Офигеть. Давайте посчитаем.
Да, сейчас посчитаем.
Еще бы определить их пол.
На ощупь довольно-таки твердые. А на вкус? На вкус сейчас попробуем.
Все, это ее уже.
Вот так, да, вот сердце, кстати. Вот здесь вот сердце и биться перестало. И биться. Давай, считаем. Подожди, сейчас мы. Так, убираем пациента со стола. Он еще живой? Да, вот, то есть ему неплохо, там всякие инсинуации зеленых. Ему только легче стало.
Да, давайте ни одно животное не пострадало.
Так, мы его отпускаем. Так, теперь будем считать. Дайте новый.
Что, засветка сильно идет?
Так.
Да, надо сделать не длинный ролик, чтобы его смотреть хотели. А то...
Ну потом.
Длина приблизительно 20 сантиметров, даже 25.
Это, видимо, их мать.
Это
Атес.
Это племянник.
Два, и вот они вот живут сами по себе. 3.
Там 2, по-моему.
4. 4.
Их ест рыба, а мы вчера ели сырую рыбу, так что, ребят,
5.
профилактика нам нужна.
По 12 нельзя. Наливай, все, я не могу. Так мы вчера
7.
мало лечились. Нифига себе мало. Мы вчера... Налей мне виски. Сейчас сделаем.
8.
Большой такой. Большой.
9.
Большой тебе налил? Полный?
Полный, не, вот такая. 10. Это какой-то ребенок.
This nurse took apart the fibers from a COVID test swab, and they're moving on their own like that because those are Morgellons fibers. people giving you that test are literally putting Morgellons fibers on your fucking brain.
And back in the day, how with medicines and things, well, basically what people used to do when people were sick, they would pray and they would cast out spirits and stuff, right? Why is that significant? Well, check this out, guys. So, do this. Spell COVID backwards. Spell COVID backwards. I want you everybody to do that real quick. Spell COVID backwards in your phone. Okay? Then, after you do that, look up the Hebrew meaning. Look up the Hebrew meaning of that word. Look up the Hebrew meaning. Tell me what you get. All right, guys. So, you see the definition? Like, is that not significant? Come on, man. Like, you can't make this stuff up, man. You can't make this stuff up. Like, so I'm gonna read you definition for you guys that didn't. Okay, that didn't look it up. Devok is a term derived from the Hebrew word debuk, which is an evil spirit capable of possession, capable of possessing other creatures, and is believed to be the suffering soul of the dead. The debuk is the soul of an evil person whose soul wants to evade the punishment and tries to stay on this dimension by possessing another body. Guys, let that shit sink in. Let that sink in. Guys, what was I just telling y'all? We was just having this conversation. What did I say about Donald Marshall? I said Donald Marshall, I played the video. Donald Marshall was talking about how the pretty much the Dracos, reptilians, were able to use this proboscis or something like that, where they would have pretty much a something come out of their head that would propel like a parasite, okay, that would allow them to possess somebody else or take over that person. Okay, like, guys, we can't make this stuff up. As crazy as the stuff sounds, you gotta listen to the stuff. You gotta pay attention to it. Okay? Now, with that, I was just talking to y'all. I said, man, it's something to how back in the day they used to cast out evil spirits out of people, okay, when people were sick. Now we understand that parasites make people sick. Parasites also have a way of, I have to go to that too. I'm finna show y'all real quick. But parasites take over people's brains. Okay? You got parasites taking over people's brains. You got parasites eating people's brains. Parasites cause dementia and things like that, and other type of neurological ailments. So let me pull this up real quick. Hold on. Okay, guys. So I'm about to pull this up real quick for y'all as well. Like, man, follow me. Miss Black Barbie sent this in, and I thought this was pivotal. Critical. Hold on. Give me a second here. New find special. Boom, there it is. New findings: depression, suicide, and toxoplasma gondii infection. Okay. Parasite disease and psychiatric illness. Okay. Parasite tied to self-harm, suicide. Remember I was saying we don't know if these parasites is causing people to commit suicide. Guys, I know some folks. Well, I know of a person that committed suicide recently. Okay, now whether that was because of the parasite, now I don't know. But this is funny, like, guys, when I told you about spiritual discernment and stuff, remember I just was telling y'all that people like, oh, you got to read the Bible, this, that, and other. I don't need to read the Bible. I'll get downloads information, guys, without even doing all of that. Okay, like some of the stuff I'll be coming up hitting y'all with, I found out later that stuff is dead on. So how do I know this stuff and I'm not even like researching it like that? I'll come up with something, boom, 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 and then it be spot on or what's going on or what's happening. Okay, and I was just saying this and I hadn't even looked into this. Parasite tied to self-harm suicide attempts. What did I just say? I just said this, guys, the other day. Like, that's what I'm telling y'all, guys. It's like, See, parasitic infections of the central nervous system are much more common than suspected, although most infections are asymptomatic. Study, Toxoplasma gondii parasite can alter human sexual desires. I've heard that before. That was in one of the other videos I did when we had Dr. Sirius B or B Sirius. We had Dr. B Sirius. He was talking about that. Dang, I don't remember all the information as it ties to that, but it has something to do with sexual relations and stuff. Okay, let me see. Something else I want to say. Okay, infection with Toxoplasma gondii may lead to Alzheimer's. Cornell blogs. This stuff is from like 2012, 14, 2018, 2014, August. Parasitic infections can be a nightmare, especially when they a meta-analysis study found that people who had toxo antibodies. Dang, I need to be able to read the whole thing. Side effects drug companies use to treat parasite syndromes. Conclusion: obligation and gondii relate to various mental health disorders, including schizophrenia, suicide attempt, depression. Conclusion: seropositivity of obligate intracellular protozoan parasite T. gondii is related to various mental health disorders, including schizophrenia, suicide attempt, depression, and other neuropsychiatric issues. Guys, and I didn't know this stuff until I'm just seeing this stuff, okay? But I already made the link. And I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a disciple, okay? But this stuff be coming to me, I'm trying to tell you. What I was gonna say is the whole parasite function. Because I was telling y'all the other day, I was like, there's a correlation there. Remember I said, man, people got sick back in the day and people would pray for them and cast out spirits. Like back in the day, if somebody called down to like the neighborhood doctor, he would come over there and pray. Like he would pray and cast out evil spirits. Evil spirits seem to be coming in the form of a parasite. Evil spirits is also linked to demons. The host of like the old girl was saying in the video I put up, the last video. She was talking about those parasites are linked to a potentially a reptilian Draco. Like they have a master, kind of like what Donald Marshall was saying with the whole Proboscis thing, that come out and that propels the parasite.
Said something and it just kind of struck a nerve, and I was just like, oh, maybe this person who said Richie was a shapeshifter isn't so wrong. And they do exist. They do. I've seen them shift right in my face. I used to be an artist and work festivals, and somebody shifted in my face. And I wasn't on any drugs or anything. I was actually really, really sick. I was in my tent throwing up, and I got out, and two people shifted in my face, and then they asked me what I thought about it. If they hadn't asked me what I thought about it, I would have checked myself into a mental ward, but they did. And I was terrified and pretended like I didn't see it, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. What am I thinking about? What? I think I want to throw up now. So, they do exist. I don't have all the answers about what they are, but they do have a hydroparasite. They do. And you can absolutely kill that hydroparasite. My one concern is if you kill the parasites, do you kill the host? I have no idea. I have no clue. All I know is that you will completely immobilize them. I have done this on people at basically point blank range, and they were fine, and they had to start crawling upstairs. They started sweating. They couldn't breathe. It was terrible. I think it was more that not so much they couldn't breathe, but they were like panting in pain. So this works.
So there's possibly a correlation there of what is causing people to. Okay, they're talking about possession. Okay, so demonic possession. We're talking about people not acting the same once they get these parasites in them to a certain point. You talk about Omicron, the movie. Omicron, the movie, the guy, what? He was possessed by what? He had a parasite or a demon or or an alien, whichever one you want to call it, he had that in him, possessing him, took over the man. Okay, that's the same thing that these reptiles, reptilians, are able to do. They're able to take over other human beings. Okay, now these parasites are also able to take over people. Now, are they the same, one and the same? See, people have been trying to keep it separate, and it's because of how people believe the scripture is meant to interpret the stuff. Okay, but I'm telling you, a lot of that is meant to throw you off of what's really going on out here. Now, we're okay, guys. So we're talking about potentially interdimensional beings and such that can navigate between creatures. Okay, you heard what they said on there, like the definition. Let me go back to the definition. Boom. Definition. Devog, which is COVID spelled backwards, right? Devog is COVID spelled backwards. Devog is a term derived from the Hebrew word Dibuk, which is an evil spirit capable of possessing other creatures, not just human being creatures. Okay, so it's believed to be the suffering soul of the dead. Who made this stuff up, man? Debug comes from the Hebrew word evil, which means the act of sticking, and is a normal form derived from the verb debak, to adhere to, clean. Guys, I mean, take from it what you will. Take from it what you will, but this is what I was telling y'all, man. I was just getting into this stuff. Like, stuff be amazing me sometime, man. Parasites, okay? They were in people before, okay? Parasites. There's so many different types of parasites. Let's be clear, okay? And I know, like, a lot of my videos, last couple videos, been parasite. Like, we getting a full education on parasites because that's where the stuff is really deriving from. A lot of these issues, the parasite, like I said, casting out evil spirits back in the day. You would pray for people, and they would parasites. Remember in the movie The Exorcism, when they was praying for the girl and she was throwing up and stuff? It's funny though, because when people get sick and they have parasites and stuff, people throw up. They throw up, and they have parasites coming out of them then. Okay, now, like I said, back in the day, and I'm gonna have to pull up a video, guys. I'm gonna have to pull up a video just so y'all can see firsthand, like, kind of how that works. I think I'm gonna have to do that. So, what I'm saying, man, y'all know it's also been it's been a rash of suicides and things like that stuff. They've been trying to blame all this stuff on lockdowns. They've been blaming all this stuff on lockdowns, which that ain't necessarily the case. That ain't the case, man. But it's funny though that these things, everything that's happening, everything that we seeing, is it relates to parasites and things. Okay? That's why I told y'all got to get these parasites out of your system, because you don't know what it's doing to you. You don't know what it's doing to you mentally. You don't know what it's doing to you physically. You don't know what it's doing to you emotionally. You don't know what it's doing to you sexually. You don't know what it's doing to you internally. Okay? You don't know what it is doing to your mental, like what is it? Is it causing depression and stuff? Because I'm showing you, we have to think, we don't know how many parasites they put in us to begin with. And I think, for one, if you getting some of them out, remember I told y'all I did a detox, like right before the whole pandemic hit. I did a detox and stuff, man. Who knows what parasites I might have ridded myself of at that time, okay? Which might also open the door for me to have more spiritual discernment and things. Who knows? But you go in and you talk about, like, the parasites. You talk about the parasite thing. What do we know about the people that have been passing away? They've been seeing something, right? Okay, well, you talk about parasite, you talk about demonic possession. You talking about them being able to control. The other lady was talking about she's seen like sea-like creatures. You mean like an octopus, like a hydra? Like, you got to start looking at that. You got to start looking at it as a whole. They're talking about people seeing stuff in the spiritual realm, boom, and then all of a sudden they drop it. Okay? They putting parasites in you, okay, that are able to potentially possess you and also affect your spirituality. And these things are potentially interdimensional beings that have certain power. Like, think about this. We have certain power. We're a spiritual being, right? Once we pass away from here, we go to, we potentially go to the other dimensions, okay? So we'll operate in the spiritual form, okay? So who's to say that these parasites don't have a spiritual essence as well? You see what I'm saying? Like, we don't know that. We know they have some degree of spiritual capabilities. Like this, I know this stuff sounds like a sci-fi movie, but they put it in there, and the plan has been to attack your spirituality. Okay, we're seeing that in order to possess somebody, you got to take over their soul, take over their vessel. In order to do that, you have to be able to do that in a spiritual form. You see what I'm saying? So if the word Diva, which is what's called spelled backwards, deals with possession, and they want to put something in you that's gonna possess you, and then people are looking like they possessed, and then they leaving up out of here, and then the plan was to make sure people couldn't connect to the Most High and cut them off spiritually. Remember, hey, everything we've been talking about on the spiritual level, like, we got to start assessing this stuff on the spiritual level, man. I know this stuff sounds crazy, man. And shoot, we was on the rabbit hole with adrenochrome and all that stuff a long time ago, man. We on a whole nother level of understanding. And this, guys, you got to have a free, open mind to really start to assess and observe what's going on and start putting pieces together. You can't come in here with a mindset like you know everything, and everything that you've been taught and everything that you done read is what it is. Because what I told y'all, man, those that have been here, they have put stuff out there to derail us, to mislead us, to keep us in the dark. They don't tell us about the capabilities of some of these organisms and things. They don't want you to know that stuff, okay? They want you to believe, oh, the sickness that you got is caused by this, so it came from that, when it's something that they gave you and put in you to cause you to have the sickness. Then they definitely don't want you to know that these parasites have this certain kind of technology and power. Why? Because they want to use them for evil. You see what I'm saying? And they very well may be some type of microscopic, intelligent life form or organism that's basically working directly with them. Okay, and man, we talk about grays and stuff. We talk about all these other type of potential life forms and stuff, man. You talk about Andromedons and Palladians and Anunnaki. You start talking about all this different stuff, man, and that's just like in a physical form. You talking about full grown beings of some sort, right? Hold on, guys. Yeah, we talk about full grown beings of some sort. But now we start talking about, like, think about it, like, even here, okay? Human beings, like, we got birds, we got, cattle, we got ants, we got flies, we got gnats, you know what I'm saying? We got fish, we got tadpoles, we got other type of organisms and whatnot. Now, when you start talking about from another dimension, or you talking about another life form or another planet or potential, other types of life forms that will coincide with other type of habitats and creatures, okay? Just like we got lice and stuff here, and which it may be a form of parasite and things like that. But you start talking about these other organisms and things as it relates to this particular world that we in. But we don't know the whole world, and we don't know what other different type of organisms and things exist, and what level of intelligence them things have. Do they form communities and stuff? Do they have friendships? Do they have lives? Like, we're so caught up in our world and how we function, and we've been thinking we're the you know, the king of the castle, thinking that we run the world, we the top of the food chain, and that ain't necessarily the case. So we only been looking at the world as it pertains to us. But if we are just a function of this world, we just a piece of the puzzle, we just another species that have other species and things that evolve around us, and then there's other species that have species and things that evolve around them. You know what I mean? Like, an ant to us, it may be the same thing as like a hydra to a Draco, or another type of life form. Okay, like a fish. Like, we have fish. You know, like, what do they have? Hydras, maybe. I don't know. I'm just telling you to look at it from that perspective and start thinking. Think about all the different type of species and things that we know about that's listed, that they want us to know about. Think about it. You've heard of stories about people seeing things, seeing different types of creatures and things, and finding bones of certain things that don't make sense, right? And they're never really explained to us, but they always add new stuff on the list of creatures and things. Like, they add and stuff, or they don't add stuff. They tell you what you want to, they want you to know. And if you find certain things, who's to say they even reveal it to the public? Just like they hide the technology and stuff. Just like if they know certain things about what certain animals are capable of and stuff like that, you think they're gonna tell you? Why would they tell you? So you can be smart, so you can understand the functionality. This is the stuff like, man, it's a lot. I get it. But let's sidestep that real quick, because I wanted to kind of talk about what was going on with folks right now. The whole piece that we're seeing right now with people leaving up out of here. Like I said, I got the videos out, man. Videos out on Rumble. But guys, you have to look, man. You have to look at how, like I told people, how could somebody do this type of stuff? How could somebody literally kill babies, 5 and 11-year-old babies? Like, how could they do that? Could a normal human being, you gotta ask them, could a normal human being just do stuff and be, how many could be in and do that? You know, think about it. All the stuff we know that's coming out, and we find out, we knowing, like, I ain't giving that to my kid. Like, most people, like, heck no, at this point. But for somebody to still be pushing it, and somebody still be advocating for it, could you even believe that they possibly human? Could you even believe that? You wonder how, like I told y'all, they treat us like cattle, just like we treat cows and stuff, the animals and stuff. They slaughter them and kill them, throw them to the side. I don't give two craps. They cut them up and they feed them out to the people. Just like they do with our kids and things. Like, in this country, or in the world, they kill the kids, man. They do all kind of nefarious stuff with the kids. That's like it's inhumane, right? So how can you be so inhumane, so insensitive to human beings and pain, emotions, and feelings, and, you know, how can you be so inhumane? Why? Because you're not human to begin with. That's how you end up with folks doing things, doing stuff like that, and people can't make sense of it because they're not human. That's why I say all these folks, man, that's up in your gov, that's up in these celebrities and things, man. The ones you find out who's who now, because them celebrities that you see dropping like flies and things, that's because they were some regular humans, okay, that they was working for the priesthood. They thought they was gonna be spared or whatever else, and some of them was dumb enough to go and fall for the crap. And then again, you got some that's been, some of the ones that ain't having stuff happen to them, they've been taken over. Remember what Donald Marshall said, they take over a different body, they have one time in their life where they can go into somebody else. Okay, so That's why you see some of these celebrities and stuff had these things happen, these things with their eyes and stuff, where it's like, okay, that wasn't right. Something ain't right with their face. Because some of them have been taken over. And they, like you said, they become more smarter as a human. But they can grow hair, they can do all this stuff. Then you got the clones. So the clones come in, they bring the clones in, and then they can put any one of them things in a clone. They always can take over the clones, whether it be with one of the true Dracos, or they can have one of the Parasites hosts go take over the Dracos, or not the Dracos, but the human being. Okay, so you can have like a Britney Spears, you can have a clone, you can have two Shaquille O'Neals, right? One of them is the human, one of them is run by a parasite that's experiencing life as a human, that's enjoying the pleasures of human. Remember the movie Species, when the girl would go and she would try to have sex with all these men and stuff, and she was real promiscuous? Like, remember what Donald Marshall said? What they want to do? They just want to, have sex and stuff like that, right? So you have to be cautious, because these things, man, they're insensitive to human emotions and feelings and stuff. They don't care. So they'll do stuff and hurt you and not care, right? So you hear things about stuff happening to people, man, and a lot of crazy stuff happening. A lot of times it be like Donald Marshall said, it be those things, and people are being hosted. They run around a human host, but they really are one of them things. And that's how you end up with some of this evil stuff that happens, right? So I go back to like even the videos I posted before. Man, you have to go back to my big guys. I used to be on some other stuff before all this stuff happened. Like my videos was on other stuff. I dealt with a lot of demonic stuff and stuff like that, and talked about the music industry and entertainment and the stuff they was doing. And I had talked about the clones. I got a video that I did talking about the clones and stuff. See how we going from one step to the next? Like, we ain't been talking about clones much at all. But when you start tying in everything going with the parasite and the possession and stuff like that, and what Donald Marshall was saying, you got to go back. You start looking back. I had the video where you saw Shaquille O'Neal. He just froze up. He was just froze like that. Jalen Rose, he was sitting up there and they was moving him. Like, his eyes, it never blinked. Like 5 minutes, he's just sitting there. His eyes didn't blink. And they're setting him up as if he's a prop on a freaking movie set. But he's about to do an announcement at a basketball game. That obviously was not a human being. Okay? Whether it was a clone or a controlled clone or a droid of some kind, regardless, it wasn't human. So think about that, guys. We have these type of things amongst us. Okay? We have Dracos, okay, wrapped up in sheep's clothing, basically. We have clones walking around disguised as somebody, but they really not. They just experiencing that life as one of us human beings, but they really are a parasite and a parasitic host or whatever. And then you got these androids or whatever that they got out here. Like, they show you like I told y'all before, man, they show you these movies and stuff, and they show you like these low end versions of what a droid or what a robot look like, but they far beyond that. When they give you something, they really like 40-50 years beyond that. So you seeing a dumbed down, watered down version of what they really got. So you can't really make the connection to what really could be going on. Like, they don't tell you this stuff, man. And then, like, you really have to go back now and start looking at the history books and stuff, man, and seeing how they manipulated us over time. The deception is real. They really, really manipulated us. I told you, like my videos before, when you go back and talk about the mudslides and things, and talk about the empty towns and all these big old buildings and constructions that they put together with bare hands, to move, like moving all these structures through towns with no roads. Like I told y'all, man, that stuff, it never made sense. And you see the pictures of the towns, and it's empty, broad daylight, empty. How did they get like that? Where did all the people go? All these orphans popping out everywhere. Orphan trains. right? Man, yeah, I hate to go on a rant, man, and get into all this stuff, but it'd be so much, man. It'd be so much that we have to go over, and I have to rehash, and it really just puts more things into perspective of what we dealing with, man. And man, it's a lot, man. It's a lot. It's a lot. But what I was telling y'all before, man, is just check out how they the whole Parasite thing, and how they used to cast out spirits back in the day when people were sick with what? Probably parasites, right? Because these parasites, we don't understand them. We don't understand them, but we know it's more to them than meets the eye, more to them than what they telling us. And you even remember that movie, man? Remember the movie The Poltergeist? I showed you that movie as well. The Poltergeist, when that dude was drinking that bottle, and boom, he swallowed the parasite, and all of a sudden he was what? Possessed. Possessed. What is Devok? Devok is a term derived from a Hebrew word Devok, which is an evil spirit capable of possessing other creatures, and is believed to be the suffering soul of the dead. The Devok is the soul of an evil person whose soul wants to evade the punishment and tries to stay on this dimension by possessing another body. So did that parasite that was in that dang bottle that dude was drinking, did that possess him? Was that an evil soul? What was it? Why is it in the movie? Why did they even put it in there? Right? See, all this stuff starts to come together, man. All this stuff starts to come together. Anywho, guys, I just wanted to put that out there because I thought that was relevant information. So yeah. Okay, so check it out, guys. I put some information in here I thought was pivotal. Now, understand, when I first started doing this particular video, it was supposed to be for YouTube, and I told you it's gonna be YT friendly. But I kind of stumbled across more information that really was pivotal to the understanding of what's happening. Now, I don't know, I might just make a separate video, man. I might throw it all in there because this ain't YouTube friendly no more. I might throw this stuff in there, but I might bleep some stuff, bleep, bleep, bleep. You might get a lot of that, but you can kind of put the pieces together, okay? But what I want to talk about, I initially went and I grabbed some stuff from Donald Marshall because Donald Marshall was hitting on some important pieces of this as it pertains to cloning and also the parasitic aspect and their capabilities of what they was capable of. But also the Demar Hamlin thing. I told y'all, man, well, I don't know if I actually put it out, but I said when it happened, I said that man is dead. That man is dead. Why I said he was dead? Because he was on the field too long, going through emergency treatment, like right there, CPR, trying to restart his heart. Okay, and if you understand what's been going on with all these people that's got this stuff growing in their system, like how you gonna restart the stuff if it ain't you don't even clean out the valves? You know what I'm saying? Like, you not cleaning out those things. But either way, like I said, man, that's too long. He been resuscitated and all that stuff. They said he now we didn't hear about this till the next day, that he had went to cardiac arrest a second time, like at the hospital, and they had to resuscitate him again. See, this is the stuff that they didn't want. Understand this, guys. If Demar Hamlin actually did die on the field, do you honestly believe that they would broadcast that and say, oh, Demar Hamlin just died? Like, why y'all was watching live? Do you honestly believe that they would have came on national TV and said, oh, we have regret to inform you, all of our viewers, millions of people across the world, Demar Hamlin is dead. We regret to inform you of this. Hell no, they wasn't finna tell y'all that, man. You know what kind of outrage they would have got from that? That's why you think they even went around the field and all the players made like a wall so nobody could see what was going on. They didn't want y'all to see that part. So you think even if he did die, do you think they want to tell you that he died? No, they not. What they gonna do? They gonna drag him off the field, make sure everything, act like everything is cool. And I told y'all, if somebody just went to cardiac arrest and y'all had to resuscitate him and stuff, why are y'all driving so slow away from the arena? Why y'all not rushing? Why the lights ain't on and y'all buzzing, rolling up out of there trying to get up there? Why y'all ain't get to the hospital and y'all emergency crew ain't rushing out, grabbing him and running up the steps or running up the elevators and getting him onto the floor to get worked on? Why y'all not doing that? That's not protocol for somebody that's still alive that has survived, okay? And if you're an EMT or something, please let me know if I'm wrong on this. But as far as I've seen and I've known, EMTs, they going to rush you to the hospital. They going to have emergency crew waiting. They going to rush you in, and they going to start working to get you back right, okay? Now, if they stabilize him, which they claim they did, he was out for 9 minutes, and they stabilized him. Okay, maybe they did. Maybe they did. But then why did he go into cardiac arrest a second time at the hospital? And what happened? See, what would happen is because this, think about this, guys. I just showed you the information. You go watch my last video. Okay, if you haven't watched my video, guys, you got to keep up, man. I can't keep on. I tell y'all, man, I'm dropping videos on Rumble. I come on here, I give you the notice. Hey, go over there, check it out. Y'all got to get over to see them videos so you can start putting stuff together. Because y'all know I'm always piecing stuff together as it relates to other things that have occurred. So if you keeping up, you know where we at, you know where we going, you know what's happening. If you don't, you're going to be missing something. But I just put the video out the other day where it was talking about how they had the concert with your guy Travis Scott. Remember, and everybody died and everything? Well, yeah, they were saying everybody suffocated and stuff. Then the information came out later, and I put in the video how these people didn't really suffocate like that. And they was paid to say that, but really what happened, they went to cardiac arrest. That's pivotal, okay? Critical information that people need to know. Why is that important, Net? Well, if you think about it, guys, if that's what happened to them and they were at a concert, nobody really knew them much other than the parents and, you know, maybe some average person would have ran up and asked them what happened, blah, blah, blah. If these people survived, or the people that didn't survive, they would ask their parents, well, what happened to them? Them people got paid off, got relocated and everything else to say that they actually died of suffocation and stuff like that, opposed to what really caused it, which we talking about in here with old girl talking about frequency and stuff, and they can pretty much set people, you know, hearts off and get things going like that with the stuff they putting in you, okay? Then if they doing that for some regular Joes and Jane and Joes, what do you think they're going to do for a National Football League player that had an episode as it related to the walk and he checked up out of here on national television for millions upon billions of people to watch and know about? Do you honestly believe that they will allow this to get out into the public that he passed away and it was from the walk, when we all know that? Because I did post it, I'm gonna try to find it for y'all, man, but his doctor or whatever came on and said something about it on Twitter, tweeted out on Instagram or something about he had just got his turbo like a week prior to him having that episode. Okay, now what's important about that? Well, he's a famous athlete, everybody's gonna know about it. So what do? That's where Donald Marshall clip come in. What do we know about the Vril? I put that in here. What can they do? Boom. They can clone somebody. It takes upwards of 24 to 48 hours. Okay, after 2 days, all of a sudden they start saying, oh, Demar Hamlin is coming back around. Oh, he's with his teammates. He's smiling. He's saying things, right? That's what they gonna do. They did it with Dave Chappelle. They did it with Gucci Mane. Okay, they got these clones. That's why I talk about the cloning stuff, man. Like, that's a big piece of this. Even when you talk about the Donald Trumps, I told y'all it's 2 Donald Trumps. I told y'all that. Whether both of them are bad, I don't know. Whether it's a good and a bad, I don't know. But understand that they can use one for good, they can use one for evil. I showed y'all the videos where there was 2 Trumps. They had 2 different personalities almost. One of them was highly promoting the walk. One of them was advocating for other treatments. And I showed you multiple videos where you could see there was a difference between. You have to go back and find my videos where I got it, man. It's on there. Go on Rumble, look it up, and enjoy your guy. what's his name? Dick Gregory. He came out and said it. Okay, he was talking to what's the guy? Ben Carson. Because Ben Carson was the one who said there's 2 Donald Trumps. I was with the good one. There's a good one and there's a bad one. I told y'all that. It's one good, it's one used for good, one good used for evil. Okay? All you gotta do to have one is have a clone of one, and you got one of those real alien parasites in it. Okay? And then there you go. You got you a version of Trump. So either way, I'm telling y'all, they would definitely 1,000%, even if Demar Hamlin did die, that's exactly what they would do. They would pay the family off big money, more than they paid the people off at the dang Travis Scott concert, because he's a more pivotal piece, a more critical piece to this whole picture. They would have to do that. Do you understand what I'm telling y'all? Like Demar Hamlin, if he did, let's say he didn't die. If he didn't die, okay, good. But it's very odd how they're keeping him hidden and stuff. Like they don't want to show him. They kind of keeping him back, and everything is like it's a vague, picture. It's nothing that you can really grasp and say, okay, this is concrete. That really is him. That really, because you seen what happened with Gucci Mane. Gucci Mane came back. Everybody like, man, that ain't Gucci Mane. All Gucci Mane folks is getting locked up. I know a lot of y'all don't know much about Gucci Mane, but Gucci Mane is a hip hop artist that got locked up. People were saying that something happened to him. He was fat and everything when he went in. When he came out, he was like thin and muscle bound, and like even some of his tattoos kind of had moved out of position. His raps wasn't the same. Like his music, artists, man, that stuff be something that come from the soul, the spirit, and it come from, stuff that they're able to rehash from their experiences in life and stuff. Now, whether they transferred his consciousness and stuff and all that, I don't know, but they're capable of doing that. But at the same time, some things about you can't replicate. Okay, you can't replicate everything. And I told y'all, even with Dave Chappelle, I did the video. You have to go back and watch my video, Clones. I forgot what I called it. Was the clone was? No. I can't think of it, man. But it's on BitChute. I might move it to Rumble. But I do have a BitChute channel, guys, with my Clones video is on there. And you guys might need to see that. Y'all might need to see that because it does correlate to what's going on. But anyway, to put things in perspective, guys, the whole thing with Donald Marshall, he's talking about how they use the clones and stuff and how the cloning centers worked and everything else. But the biggest piece of this is I believe that, yes, Demar Hamlin did pass. I said that when he first left the field because they wasn't moving fast. They didn't rush him out of there. The lights was slow, and like the ambulance moving slow. Everything just didn't line up, okay, for a regular like emergency type of situation. All right, so with that, now you're seeing some of this stuff that kind of foretells what happened, and then now you go back and you try the information that I'm giving you along with that. Now, this ain't the first case. There's other athletes and things that have been replaced the same way in order to keep people from knowing the truth. And you're going to see some more of this type of stuff happening as we lose people. Because I told y'all, man, the stuff that's been happening in other countries, okay? They putting it up there. It's all kind of stuff happening to people. They're not advertising that stuff over here. Just like they stopped some of the walks and things over there in the other countries, but they still pushing it over here, okay? And they can't have people having more hesitancy because you got somebody like that, some national figure that just didn't drop drop dead out the blue, because that will create hesitancy. Okay, so I wanted to point that out to you guys because I thought that was very, very important in the big scheme of things and what we're learning about everything that's going on. So you got a little bit of Donald Marshall in there. You got a little bit of information as it pertains to Demar Hamlin. Okay.
After the Buffalo Bills lost to the Cincinnati Bengals, officially eliminated from playoff contention, one of the things that people have been talking about is Demar Hamlin. Now, of course, Demar Hamlin was facing that same Cincinnati Bengals team several weeks ago when in the first quarter he took a hit, his heart stopped, went in a cardiac arrest on the field. They were doing CPR on the field, they shocked him on the field, giving him oxygen, all these things. Eventually, he'd go to the hospital. They gave us updates saying he's back alive, he's well, he did Zoom calls with his teammates, all this stuff. But the reason people are talking about this is not necessarily because, this uplifting story. It's changed a little bit, and it's changed because of the way that Demar Hamlin is being protected. And I just got to be honest, this entire thing is weird. We've seen a couple photos of Demar Hamlin come out. Actually, we've even seen some that his teammates posted where you can see pretty clearly it is Demar Hamlin, but we've yet to see any real video of Demar Hamlin. So when the NFL continued to talk about, look at Demar Hamlin, here he is at the game cheering on his Buffalo teammates, it was really weird because you couldn't tell if it was Demar Hamlin or not. Here's TMZ. Demar Hamlin Bills game attendance sparks, quote, conspiracy theory. Sources say it's BS. Yes, I'm sure that if it was actually this big conspiracy and not Demar Hamlin, I'm sure all the people close to him would say, yes, this is actually Demar. But it's not wrong for people asking these questions, just to be quite honest. When this is one of the clearest images we have of Demar Hamlin, it's not a crazy thing to talk about. Now, Demar Hamlin even made a post on Twitter to try to combat some of these rumors or speculation or whatever, but that didn't do much to help. This is Demar Hamlin, clone. And then he posts a picture of himself with his face covered next to this mural of him. The reason people are talking about this is because every single image that we've seen of Demar Hamlin, at least at this game, seems to be super protected. They wouldn't let him talk to anybody. They wouldn't let him see anybody. Even by himself in a private booth, he has his hood up, has a mask on, even has sunglasses on. It's fucking weird. Like, just straight up, it's weird. Breaking. Demar Hamlin had a sudden cardiac arrest on the football field. The details of his injury remain mysterious. Now, when Lamar's in public, he won't show his face. What's really going on? And I want to show this entire thing. Now, we might pause a little bit. We might turn the volume down, stuff like that, because it is probably CBS copyrighted material. But take a look at this. This is his arrival to the stadium.
Demar Hamlin is in the building.
Demar Hamlin in the building. And they are very careful to have a lot of people there to shield him and immediately take him right into the tunnel. You really don't get a look at him at all. But hey, Demar Hamlin's in the building. You can see he has a mask on. He has sunglasses on. He has a hood on. You can barely see any of him at all. Now, his family, his mother and his little brother, came separately after that right here.
And his little brother is there. Oh, we love to see it. Stay tuned.
So the mom and the little brother. Then later on, when he comes out of there to go into his private booth, comes out of the locker room, he's again protected. Like, look at this. This is Demar Hamlin coming out. Immediately, people very protectively usher him into this hotel. And then what do we see on the field now? Again, this isn't all like this. The NFL couldn't have predicted that it was going to be a huge snowstorm. Well, even though it's Buffalo, there's a lot of snow in Buffalo. But this is the images they show us of Demar Hamlin.
It's baby steps right now. It's all completely up to...
You can't see anything. And they continue to show this image time and time again up in the booth. Now, you did see this. This is him and his little brother. Reportedly him and his little brother. He's still got the mask on up there.
Right? Yeah, he did. This is it right here. What a scene. Oh.
He's doing the 3, doing the heart, doing all that stuff. But I mean, this is not enough. People want to know what's going on with Demar Hamlin, right? Now, it could certainly not be him. It could be a body double, something like that. It could be that he wants to keep himself completely hidden from everyone until he sells his story, like sells that first interview, that first video publicly. Because he might think that's going to go for, I don't know, millions and millions of dollars. I'm not sure. But a lot of people are talking about this. Demar Hamlin doesn't owe anyone a picture or interview, sure. But for a guy that seems to be about spreading love, surely he can see he's doing more harm than good with his whole clone pick. He conceals his identity with a hood, mask, and glasses at the game. He's either dead or a piece of shit. It's weird. I had to talk about this finally because it's just freaking weird. I can see why he might want to keep some things mysterious because he might want to sell this interview to the fucking highest bidder, something like that. But all of this is just making people wonder what is going on. It's basically making people ask questions. Is Demar Hamlin alive? That's a question that's being asked right now. But obviously, is this a body double? Is it something like that? That's legitimate questions. Now, this is just from a few days before his appearance at the game. This is talking to Matt Milano, or this is posted by one of his teammates, Matt Milano. This is Demar Hamlin. He doesn't have a mask. He's not wearing a mask, anything like that. He is still wearing a hood. But this got posted on Matt Milano's social media. So I don't know. What do you guys think is going on? I know obviously there's some pretty extreme theories out there about what might be happening with Demar Hamlin. It's ranging everywhere from the guy's dead to, oh, well, he's got a body double to, oh, well, he just wants his privacy, stuff like that. I have no fucking idea what's going on, but it could be anything at this point. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.
People don't want to go there, and then after that, everything changed. Because that night when she went to sleep, won't say Freddy got her, but pretty much the world leaders put the scare of death into her, and a whole bunch of lizards did too. Because they know that I want all the lizards dead, and all of the, now I'll just say it flat out, all of the lizard parasited hosts as well. Now I have to put this eloquently because they said that this is the end of the world event. This is the big bomb that could send the world into panic and loss of order, and what the end of the world 2012 and everything is all about. Well, it's about lizards and cloning. And I'll tell you all about it right now. Something has to be done. These people are like over corrupt. I don't know if there's a word for it in the English language. They bring people to the cloning station and enslave them and have the option of allowing them to remember the memory. If they leave you if they leave you memory repressed, it will give you symptoms in real life, and you'll just think that you're sick. You won't know. It depends on what they do to you as a clone. If they're torturing you, you'll get badly sick. You'll get heart damage. Like my heart's messed up, and I'm only 37. Just turned 37, and yeah, they strap you to a rack and freaking slice you and everything, and people sit around in a crowd watching you in this big, well, not big, it's a stadium, and it has a hockey boarded ring, but it's smaller than a normal hockey rink, and the celebrities and kings and queens from weird countries are all there sitting in the stands watching this weird faces of death scenario thing. Made people sword fight. They made me sword fight there. I got all chopped up as a clone. And the thing is, they can have multiple clones of you, right? Now, they got chips in these clones too, so they turn you into the next clone, like, within a matter of, like, 30 seconds. Like, deactivate one clone and go over to this one and click it on. And I've experienced it. It's, everything goes black. You don't have dreams anymore. Some of the celebrities make songs. I've made songs for them there about not having dreams anymore, and your dreams are lost and blah blah blah. Your heart this, heart that. Like, I made a lot of songs there.
Can I ask, Donald, how do you know that you're the real you?
Scars and clones. Well, these duplication clones can't walk around in public without what they call a handler. They have to be babysat so that they don't bite someone on the face or start a fire in a house, or they're like they go with the first impulse.
You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of the episode of Family Guy where Stewie clones himself, but he doesn't do the cloning job right, and he creates what's known as bitch Stewie, who's really retarded, kind of thing. Is that sort of what we're talking about here?
It could be. They make that cartoon. They make The Simpsons. They make all the movies and stuff. They made the Avatar movie. They own Hollywood, right? So, and they get their ideas. They all discuss stuff at the cloning station like all night. It gets pretty boring there, because first, once they do the sex, and then they do death stuff to themselves, because they can turn. Somehow they have the tech to make the clone not feel any pain at all. They said it's something to do with how a person becomes a quadriplegic. Just the first second before they're quadriplegic, they can't feel any pain, stabbing in the thigh or anything, just like a quadriplegic can. Well, but they can still move around and stuff. They've done it to me. It feels weird. Like, they let me stab myself in the forearm and go yick, 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 right up the arm. It didn't feel anything, and it's bleeding and stuff. It's pretty gross, and all kinds of stuff there. There's nothing to do there, though, once you do all the stuff, and the novelty wears off. But then you're not allowed to leave. If you want to leave, well, they only keep you if you're at use for something. Well, good looking for sex or something, or have some kind of talent or something. And if you try to talk, you say, oh, they say people that think they're in the fifth dimension or the astral plane or something, they'll go to the police and say, the world leaders are taking me to the fifth dimension or the astral plane and victimizing me, torturing me, like Chris Benoit as well. They killed him. Well, he killed himself, but the thing was, they were torturing the hell out of him. Like Insane Clown Posse had a song made about him, and I actually did the lyrics for the song. They made me do it because I didn't want to, because I liked Chris Benoit. Thing was, they had his, and the symbol, you know, that eye, the eye of Horus with the squiggly hanging out of it. Yeah. That has to do with lizards. It's a lizard symbol. It means two things. It's a pro-lizard symbol, and it also means beware, there's lizards here. Okay, there's 3 different kinds of lizards. I'll tell you all about them. They're called Vril. The thing is, I'm not sure if it's 1 L or 2 at the end. It's Vril, V-R-I-L-L or V-R-I-L. Germans were into them. They had a club with Vril things. Anyway, there's like a 1 to 1.5 foot tall one. That's the Vril type 1. It's got scales, red scales. There's a type 2 that is not parasitic, but it's still vicious, nasty, carnivorous. They're all carnivorous. And there's a type 3 that's 8 feet tall that has a real long neck and looks like a gray alien, but it comes from deep underground, like below deep base deep. Like they need a methane oxygen mix to breathe, and deep underground they got sulfur pools, I guess, that make this stuff. Anyway, they come up underneath the domed bases. The government is complicit with them, basically. Now I have to tell you about the parasitic aspect of the lizards and why the Illuminati and the governments use them, okay? I'm saying this in a nutshell because it's very important. I want to get it all out on your show. Nobody's going to say this for fear of clone torture, remote-controlled death, or death by lizards 1,000 times until you die by a heart attack or something. But I figured I have to tell people because, well, they're getting me there anyway. Like, they eased up lately, asking me not to talk about it anymore, but I'm just going to. Well, the lizards have a thing, okay? They have what's called a proboscis. There's lizards out there today that have a proboscis on their face, okay? These things got it in the middle of their head, okay? And on the top of their head, this is the Vril type 1 and 2. The type 2 have a proboscis sheath that comes out, it sticks out. The type 1s, for instance, it's like a chocolate chip, it looks like, basically the tip of it. Now, at one point in these things' lives, because they have a long lifespan, the lizard species, one point in their life, they can slowly wiggle this thing out, eject it, and it goes into somebody's eyeball, okay, another animal. Now, it wiggles in by the sense of taste. They described this to me so, like, when I was like 18 years old there, and told me about it different times throughout the years of going there. They can bring you there every single night if they want to, and they did bring me there every night. They laughed at me when I said I was going to tell the world about this. They said, nobody's ever going to believe me. You won't put it together in a eloquent way. People will think that technology isn't that advanced yet with cloning, because they just clone the sheep, right? No. They've been cloning people a long time this way. Thing is, the lizard, okay, the thing squiggles in through the eye. It does a spiral around the optic nerve all the way to a certain point, and it's driven there by taste. And they said once it gets there, it has the taste of butterscotch, and then it does a feeling like holding your breath and going, pushing outwards. And at the tip of this chocolate chip, it then starts what they call sweating the quill. Now, the spinal cord stuff comes out of the spinal cord, out of the chocolate chip thingy, and it's everything that the lizard is. The lizard's whole body is dead. The little lizard thing is dead, and it can't go back in. Can't get back in. It's one way. Once it excretes this stuff, sweats this quill thing, the person's debilitated for an unknown amount of time. I don't know how long. But when they come back, they have to have some recovery time. But when they come back, they are not the person anymore. They are then the lizard. Let me put this to you flatly. the old person's consciousness is gone. The body is absolutely, totally dominated, and the lizard is smarter as a human then, and totally controls everything. Over time, it'll develop a rash. It'll lose its hair. Thing is, these things are all over the place, and they mimic human behavior. In fact, one of their names in the past is Mimic. A lot of the people that you hear about in the news that are getting people and chopping them up in the basement and eating them and stuff, frying them up, these are what they call drones. They're parasited hosts of the lizards. They like to make them. The only thing a drone wants to do is make more, have sex, and torture someone. Like, it's a different kind of mentality. It's hard to explain. Yeah, the lizard thing. They just totally take them over. They do it a lot. It used to be, it's a Luciferian thing. They said that these lizards were the sons of Satan or whatever, Lucifer or whatever. They're not, though. They're just a species of lizard that survived the extinction of the dinosaurs by being way, way underground. I'll just tell you, I know it sounds retarded. The damn things can talk, okay? But they don't have a tongue. I'll tell you about their mouths. It takes a while. Basically, they have a blood spike, okay? This is what they call a chupacabra, too. They come up from underground, different spots all over the world, right? Like worms out of a rotten apple, different spots, and then they infiltrate the society there. But the drones today have erased, well, 100 years ago, erased any existence of these Vril lizards from, like, Egyptian carvings on walls. They would smash them, right? Or books that had anything in them about them, they would burn them. Because drones don't want to get found out and sent off and killed. Like, this is what I thought FEMA camps were for, rounding up drones, because they've been talking about it at the cloning center. This is where they discuss all political, worldly affairs. And they let me sit in, fly on the wall, because they figure nobody's going to ever believe me, that they can clone anybody in. Everybody there is bored of it, the whole technology. It lost the novelty like 10 years ago, right? So they go there and they talk to Brad Pitt and let me tell you, all the celebrities, because they bring them there and they tell them, look, you're here, you're going to hang with us. If you don't want to, well, if they cry and make a fuss like Lauryn Hill from the Fugees, make a song about I Get Out and stuff, they let her not go to the cloning station. They don't activate her, let her have normal dreams. But other people, they really grill them to stay. And they say, if you ever talk about it, you're going to die. They made but the reason Britney Spears went pop, do you want to know right now?
Wow.
Well, Britney Spears went whack because she watched too many murder videos at the cloning station. Okay, the cloning station is like a small sports venue, like a dog and pony show, right? It's got stands, seat about 400, 450, but there's different cloning stations in different deep underground bases. But all the celebrities go to an above ground one in a wildlife preserve somewhere, and it's just like an oval sports venue with underground stuff where they grow them and store them on racks 5 high, like bunk beds 5 high, stainless steel. So they go there and sit around and do crazy stuff, and they bring me there like they were bringing me there every night. Like, I'll just tell you, it was like a victimization joke. Like, they would torture me basically in many different ways to come up with a song, some kind of a song for someone, some kind of genre of music, anything. For a while there, they wouldn't stab me or anything. Well, in the clone, like I don't have scars on me, it's on the clones at this place, but they usually scrap the body same night anyway because it's so stabbed up. I've been through a lot there, and that's another reason why I want to expose these things. Oh, and also how the lizards kill people, right? I've witnessed the head wiggy thing go into the eye. They showed me. The thing is, the Illuminati are basically using me, okay, to expose these lizards in an eloquent way, because none of them want to be the first person out so that they'll die. Like Bernie Mac he tried to start a mutiny there, saying, we can't have this, we all got to shut this place down. This place is the devil, he said. And they tortured the shit out of him. Oh, anyway, so back to the lizards. the 3 different kinds. The third kind is the smartest, the biggest and the strongest and everything, and they pretty much lord over the other 2. There's different regions, though. They cannibalize on each other underground. Anyway, Queen Elizabeth is really in with these things, okay? Her family has been for a long time. Now, these bloodlines, all that they are super inbred people, okay? What the edicts of Lucifer, like my family are down with this stuff. That's why I don't talk to them anymore. Inbreeding makes you strong. Pedophilia keeps you young, and helping lizards gives you good luck or something from the devil and stuff. They used to do this thing, kill your firstborn son, and it gives you fortune in life or something. And it's pretty sick. So anyways, yeah, all that stuff is, not true, and they know it. They just keep it going for like some stupid club, like the Devil Club. Ooh, we're cool, we're evil. It's just, they're a bunch of, basically it's a bunch of really rich, fat, old people that can't get laid, so they enslave people there to perv on them, right? Drug them, make them...
Take a look at this. This is a document published in 2017 called The Sparse Pandemic, 2025 to 2028. A futuristic scenario for public health risk communicators. It's a quote-unquote hypothetical scenario designed to illustrate the public health risk communication challenges that could potentially emerge during an infectious disease outbreak. It begins with the disclaimer that the infectious pathogen, medical countermeasures, characters, news media excerpts, social media posts, and government agency responses described within are entirely fictional. But in the year 2021, the contents of this 86-page document look more like a gruesome snapshot of our current reality than any hypothetical fictional scenario. This document predicts that at first we will be eased into the pandemic with very simple mitigation strategies, like washing your hands and practicing good hygiene. But that over the course of 3 years, those simple mitigation strategies will slowly escalate to, get this, a mass experimental program. And the purpose of this document is to mull over effective communication strategies for dealing with the public when they become aware that there's no long-term safety data, and that, and this is in their own words, it might potentially be causing more harm than good. This is straight out of the document. What are the potential consequences of health officials over-reassuring the public about the potential risks of a novel SPARS vaccine when long-term effects are not yet known? Long-term effects that are not yet known. That's weird. I heard from a professional student that long-term side effects don't exist for vaccines. Hang tight, because it gets even more infuriating. Communities around the country went through what some felt was a harrowing public health emergency, only later to confront the possibility, however slim, that the medicine we promised would help them may in fact be hurting them. Summary reports indicated that a significant number of helpline users said that their principal worry was associated with the SPARS pandemic, and more recently, uncertainty about the potential long-term side effects of Coravax. Considering this new knowledge, Dr. Flynn countered the earlier claim that the public simply needed to wait until the science was clear. I urge you to take a look at this document for yourself. You might be pretty shocked by the parallels. It focuses on details such as how to deal with the public when they viewed graphic images of children being harmed by their medical concoctions. It covers the neurological side effects that will be caused by the vaccine. It even covers very specific details such as the Black community's hesitance to take the hypothetical vaccine, and more specifically, how to win back the Black community's trust in the CDC, even though the CDC funded the Tuskegee syphilis experiment. Here's a little hypothetical tweet they've included of a rapper pandering to the Black community. When I said yesterday that I was proud of the Black community's contribution to the Tuskegee research, I meant that I was proud of how they remained strong in the face of adversity. I am saddened by the injustice and suffering they experienced, but I still strongly support the CDC and FDA's recommendations to take Calosivir and Coravax. Sound familiar?
You got the vaccine, they got the vaccine, we got the vaccine. We can get back to normal, let me inform you, let's all get the vaccine.
believe it or not, the end of this document is even more shocking than the casual minimization of 40+ years of human suffering. It ends by mulling over whether the hypothetical president of the hypothetical pandemic world should address the millions of people who sacrifice themselves to this experimental vaccination. It reads, President Archer agreed to address the country's resolve and recovery in the face of SPARS. Top risk communication advisors from the CDC, FDA, NIH, and SAMHSA conferred as a group about how best to frame the president's remarks. The group vigorously debated whether it was appropriate for the president to acknowledge the sacrifice that vaccine recipients had made on behalf of their communities or to console them in their grief over that sacrifice. That's right, my friends. Back in 2017, your trusted health experts predicted that there would be a pandemic, that pandemic would result in the rollout of a mass inoculation program, and that inoculation program would inevitably lead to the death and injury of millions of people.
So, hear me out, guys. What I've been saying, guys, I know my last couple videos been pretty lengthy. They've been pretty lengthy. All right. I apologize for that, man, but it's been so much, and it's like real intricate information that you gotta be able to process what's happening. Otherwise, man, like, you'll miss it. Like, you'll miss important information, important pieces of information, and you won't know what's going on out here. Okay? So what I'm doing, obviously we're going back, we're rehashing things that we knew about from the past, but also we grabbing stuff as it relates to what's going on right now. You know, like I like to go and put the pieces together so I can show you where we at, to show you what's happening. You know, so you can get an idea, okay, yeah, this is what Ned was saying like then, and this is what's happening now. Because ain't nobody really doing that for you. You know, they not showing you how we being manipulated, lied to, and everything else.
Giordano has said, look, we can use these lipid nanoparticles to infect people and cause disruptions in their emotions, in their thoughts, and their behaviors. We can also induce a pandemic of strokes. So this is what the nanoweapon technology is. And I think, you know, maybe because it's so unbelievable, and patents and the peer-reviewed publications, most of the biological sequences for this nanoweapon are from parasites. And that's exactly why. And it states in the documents that they respond to their environment. They respond to chemicals and enzymes and products in their environment. That's why and the parasitic treatments, kill it and or at least slow it down. Now, the other thing is it's part technology. And I sent this to one of the engineers too. It clearly states in the patents that this is based on quantum dot. It's based on the Bohr particle, which is based on frequencies, which means that frequencies can also disable this technology. And there is a peer-reviewed publication in Science magazine that actually talks about there are specific electromagnetic sequences that completely disable the spike protein. Why is that? Because it's not a biological spike protein. It's a nanotechnology. That's why frequencies will disable it. So that's why, Stu, you and I have talked. And this is also in SEC filings. The 5G towers are part of the energy source for this AI nanoweapon, this AI parasite, which, again, keep in mind, we're all being infected with it to, as the patent says, spawn new genetic species. That's what it's for. So if the towers are taken down, and Starlink was not built for our protection. It's not a military operation for our protection. It's a military operation to take down humanity. So the Starlink network and the are needed to basically provide the fundamental energy source for these artificial intelligent parasites. And I am very disappointed that nobody, and it explains, but still, if we look in front of our eyes, a respiratory virus doesn't explain why people are magnetic. A respiratory virus doesn't explain why people are spinning around thinking that they're being, attacked by demons. A respiratory virus does not explain why when a woman is injected, her baby is murdered inside of her womb, ripped from her body, and she's left barren. That's not from a respiratory vaccine. It's from an advanced artificial intelligent nanoweapon that's a parasite.
We have to we have to accept, guys, that we are dealing with alien technology. Alien technology, okay? Demonic forces, okay? We're dealing with all of that. Like, this is no longer just a regular war. This is really, this is the war of wars, guys. This is a battle of good and freaking evil. I cannot reiterate that enough. This is a battle of good and evil. So, I mean, you look at the information, man, that's been coming out, everything that we've been putting together, and it's all right there. It's all right there, man. The thing that's really like, man, the thing that really gets me about everything that's going on is that with all that we seeing, is they still pushing. They still pushing. That tells me, man, that as far as we know, the bad guys are still in control. They still in control. They gonna run this thing, and think about it, man. You go back, like I played in my last video, you have to go watch it, with Dr. Lorraine Day. She was talking about how they ran this, and I told y'all this before. I said they've been running this program, man, since before the Spanish flu, the bubonic plague, all of that stuff, man. They've been doing it. So if you ask yourself, okay, if they allowed them to do this stuff then, this happened, and here we are 100 years, every 100 years they run this program, and they lie, they hide it. Look, we got all this technology, advanced technology, okay, advanced healthcare and everything else. We got all this today. We got media, we got all this ways of getting information out and saving people and everything else. Think about it. They didn't have that stuff back then. They didn't have that back in the 16, the 15, 1400s. You know, even the news, the way it comes out that this stuff is happening. You know, like I told y'all, and I'm going to continue to tell you, the number of deaths is well to 20, 30s, 40 million people now. Okay? And when it happened back then, it was astronomical numbers. But you know what they did? They lied. They said, oh, this many people died from the bubonic plague. But they didn't. And then they didn't tell you all the people that died from different things that they heard. It was natural causes and stuff. They didn't have, like, you know, those independent researchers, investigative journalists like myself that was going in, grabbing out the real information and throwing it back to the public. And even if you did, that stuff would not be reported today on what really happened. Like I told you, you had all them towns that was empty and stuff, and you had all these babies and stuff on these trains, these orphan trains and stuff. Guys, it's not what you thought it was. That's what I'm trying to tell you. All of this stuff is completely different than what you knew. Completely different. And they are directly responsible for how this stuff that went down. They directly responsible, and they telling y'all some BS. They did that stuff back in the day. The same culprits, okay? They're not human, okay? They've been running this world, running this country, running everything, and they're in all the positions of power. Okay? That's why the gov is really the glove. That's what they really the glove. Not the gov, they the glove. And they controlling humanity. They running us like basically like sheep. That's basically what they doing. So make no mistake about it, guys. A lot is being revealed. Many people, man, is gonna suffer behind this. That's all I can say. Many people gonna suffer. So, peep, guys. As crazy as this sound, and I'm just gonna put it out there. But based off all the research, information, guys, have I been wrong yet? First, you gotta ask yourself that. Has Net been wrong yet about what's going on? Okay? And we can still speculate about Trump. Okay? But I told y'all there's two Trumps. Okay? Y'all that may never be discovered, but I'm telling y'all there is two Trumps. Now, I'm not saying Trump is good. I'm not saying Trump is bad. I'm saying that there's two, and at least one of them is bad. We know that. And I believe one of them has good intentions or may be being used for good, or one might be being used for bad. Either way, we're dealing with a little bit of both, is what I believe, okay? Now, what I'm telling y'all, based off the research and all the information that we've gathered to this point, is that regardless of how you want to look at it, your family members, your loved ones, and a lot of these friends and stuff that you got, they pretty much been body snatched. They pretty much been body snatched by live, intelligent parasites. As crazy as it sounds, guys, because you have to understand, we can twist it up and play, you know, play on words and stuff, but in the context of the conversation, you still have to deal with the fact that we're talking about parasites that are intelligent, okay? And we also talking about demonic possession, okay? Which very well may be one and the same. That's what we get into. But at the end of the day, the plan is still the same. Because, it, like I said, you go back to the word, like, what's COVID backwards? Divock. What does that mean? Possession. What, at the end of the day, what is the overall, what is the overall big picture? Is taking over somebody. That's what this all been about. We've been on to this stuff from the beginning. I've been saying that for the longest. Like, the whole plan been to take over people, man. Take over people. Take over people's souls. Take over people's spirits. We've been on to all that. Pick up, man. Either way, it's been about taking over, whether it be the human vessel or the soul, the spiritual possessing. Like, at the end of the day, what I'm telling y'all is that your family members and loved ones have pretty much been body snatched. Now, whether that stuff will be activated or will be recognized or noticed right away, I don't know. Whether they got to hit a switch or something to make that stuff happen, I don't know. Whether they going to do something crazy, I don't know. I don't know that part, but I know that they was putting these things in people for those specific reasons. That's what I'm telling y'all. Specifically to take over their soul or their spirit, or to take over their body, to turn them into a freaking android zombie, or a freaking slave, okay? Or just to have control over them, okay? And like I told y'all, man, some of y'all have seen it yourselves, man. Some of your family members and loved ones was acting very, very different after they took that walk. Very, very different. And I'm telling y'all, I have family members that was acting very, very differently after that walk. So I think it's a lot more that we got to figure out, but I think that's a big piece of it, a big piece. And we have to, like I said, you have to acknowledge what's been going on and what we figured out. We discovered that those parasites are intelligent. We understand that they have mind control capabilities. We understand that the nanos and things that they got, these things have specific objectives. You know what I mean? Like when I tell y'all they did certain stuff for a specific reason. Like, we looking at stuff and people keep talking about, oh, it's an experiment, this, that. It's not an experiment when you know what the hell's gonna happen. It's not an experiment. Just like I told y'all about the other stuff, man. It's spirituality. You got to understand that part. Like, this is not a mistake. They know what's gonna happen. It's not an experiment. It's not by accident. This stuff is intentional. They know what it's gonna do. They've already done it. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They done studies. It wasn't the studies that they gave you. They done studies on whether that stuff could take over somebody or not. They did studies on whether they can get control over somebody or not. Remember the animal studies that Robert Kennedy Jr. was talking about? What did the study say? That's the studies we need to look at. What happened to the animals? All of the animals. Just like they did a study with kids on that stuff. What were those studies? What did those... So, anywho, guys, I don't think that a lot of people really grasp like where we at today. Okay, like people don't grasp like the magnitude of this situation. Like, think about this, man. For the last however many years of your life, since you've been awake, you've been trying to convince your family members and friends that the world is not what it seems. Only to fall short for some of you up until this point. So after what? They come face to face with some real life, like pure evil that we were trying to prepare them for and warn them about decades ago. And even after the fact, even now, we've tried to warn them. Now think about it. What you trying to do? You've been trying to convince your family members, friends, and loved ones that the gov is out to kill them. Think about that. You've been trying to convince them that the people that they love and trust, that they put all their heart and faith into, have been out to kill them. And you wonder why they call you crazy. You wonder why they call you conspiracy theorists, or called you conspiracy theorists. Man, I can't think of a better time than now it is to have been a conspiracy theorist. I wear that badge proudly today. Yes, I was a conspiracy theorist. Yes, I avoided the catastrophic event. What Max Spears called it, the big wipeouts. Yeah, I avoided that because I was a conspiracy theorist. So what do the other folks have to say? You know, what do they have to say in regards to what's happening today and how it's affecting them? Does it pay? Like all the persecution and everything that you might have endured throughout this time of wearing that label, wearing that badge, today is a day of vindication and reckoning. Like, I mean, quiet as kept, guys, folks are waking up all over the world. They waking up, no doubt about it. They waking up all over the world, and they waking up quick, fast, in a hurry. I mean, the stuff I'm seeing, man, it is ridiculous. How many people are waking up to this tragedy that is taking place, that is taking this country by storm. And I told y'all, man, over the next couple months to a year, like it's gonna all pour out to where it's gonna be undeniable. Matter of fact, guys, I was just talking with a health insurance director. He's like the director of the company. Okay, I kid you not. I was just talking to the health director of the company, and I asked him flat out. I said, "So, has there been anything since the walk?" I said, "Have there been any? Have you seen an uptick in it?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yes." He's like, "But we can't even talk about it and say nothing but yes." He's like, "It's definitely 1,000% that there are people messed the hell up and deaths." This is what he telling me. He like the director. He deals directly with companies, so he deals with companies directly and sells insurance and makes sure he goes in and fixes and makes sure that they're all good. So not individuals. He talks about a whole company. So like a whole company like American Airlines. Okay, say they got 50,000 employees. He deal with the company, so he gets the claims. He sees all of that from what companies is putting out, how much of an uptick it's been. So yeah, how much of an uptick it's been in disabilities and overall claims being paid out, deaths. He see all that, and he said, "Hell freaking yes, folks is leaving up out of here. They're leaving up out of here." And he said, "It's never been like this ever." He said, "It's that bad." So you take that into consideration, man, and then think about this. We was having all the fabrication, all the fabrication that they was putting out there, and all that propaganda trying to say this, that, and the other about people was dying of you know what, when in actuality it wasn't. Now you got people really leaving up out of here. and they not saying a peep. Think about that. How else could you be for the people and actually be trying to protect people if this is really going on and these insurance companies really reporting this and you're not doing it and you're still pushing it? Make that make sense. If that don't put it in perspective that we are in a war, that they trying to take out as many folks as they freaking can before the cat's completely out the bag, man, I don't know what, man. Real talk, man. Real talk. Another thing I had seen too, I wanted to tell y'all, they just put something out talking about, oh yeah, heart attacks and things is had a sharp rise the first year of the pandemic. No, it did not. Guys, they're doing stuff. Told y'all, they doing stuff right now to cover they butts. This is damage control. They're trying to normalize all of these deaths and things and heart attacks. They even said, oh, we're all because of lockdowns, guys. Now all of a sudden we're seeing a lot of heart attacks and strokes and brain issues because of the lockdowns that people endure during the pandemic. Like, and you know what though, a lot of people ain't buying it, but it's some sheeple out there, guys. I'll be honest, it's some sheeple. They eating it up like some fresh hay. You know what I'm saying? Like some fresh freaking hay. Speaking of hay, I did put that out there in one of them last 2 videos, man. That the Morgellons, man, you gotta get them out your system. Get the Morgellons out your system, guys. It's a certain kind of hay. You gotta go to one of my last 2 videos, and the woman talks about it. Is it Carrie Maget? I think she on there with Carrie Maget, but she was telling how to remove the Morgellons out of your system. Okay, because those things are really, really wreaking havoc as well. Like I said, you got a couple of different things, man, that they putting in for. You got to understand, guys. Now, I said this before. You got foreign entities putting foreign organisms and such in your body that we have no knowledge of. Why are they so determined to put these different foreign organisms and things in your body? Why are they so? What we know of these organisms, and what I've showed you throughout this video, is that they have mind control capabilities. They can take over your body. They can host you. They come from Dracos, Nephilim, whatever. Those things are connected somehow to them. They have Neuralink capability, able to be given a signal. They transmit frequency and stuff, or they receive frequency. And also you got the blue lights that they've been putting up. Notice those blue lights popping up all over your town, guys. I mean, they're creeping closer to the homes. They start off on the highway and they get closer to residential areas. Pay attention to them blue lights. I'm fearful of what them things is really capable of. I know it's supposed to connect to the it's supposed to be connected somehow to the antennas, but also it's able to give out a signal, from what I understand, to these parasites. Okay, and I really, guys, and I can't do much more with this video because it's tinkering around, you know, rated R, meaning rated Rumble only, and I can't go where I want to go. All I can do is point you in the direction of the last 2 videos, but this video really went a different direction than what I wanted it to. I wanted to keep it right, you know, YT friendly, and it kind of got you know, I don't know. I did bleep some stuff out, but it was some more information that I really, really wanted to put in here, but I really, really couldn't because it was really, really risky. So I neglected to do that, and I think we gonna cut it kind of right here because we don't want to do too much else. I will have a second video coming out. Probably, I would say by middle of next week. I'll probably put another one out. I'll probably do that one straight rated R. Yeah, that one will be Rumble rated. Okay. So either way, guys. In closing, I just want to say thanks once again to everybody that has been supporting the channel, man. Y'all make this almost like it's a straight real news broadcast type of situation. You know, when you supporting and everything and making it possible for me to keep on putting the work together. Yeah, I wish I could, man. If I could, I would just do this full time you know, just research, dig, and bring the information to y'all in creative ways so that y'all can help pass this information along. You know, that would be a great thing. Unfortunately, the way it's set up, people like me, we not supposed to be out here talking or saying nothing, and they got a way of keeping us quiet and supporting those that's pushing the agenda. Okay, but understand this, man. At the end of the day, we are behind enemy lines. This is a war zone. It hasn't been declared because the enemy is running the show. This is a war zone. We are behind enemy lines. There are deaths, there are casualties. You got folks dropping dead right next to you. Just because they ain't get shot by a gun don't mean they ain't get hit by a straight bullet. Okay, don't mean they ain't get hit by a live round. Hey, folks is getting hit and they dropping in. The thing is, like I told y'all before, man, if you want to take some folks out, it's got to be a sneak attack. You can't have people dropping right there, right then and there. Those are not meant to go like that. The majority of the deaths is supposed to happen later on. Do you understand what I'm telling you? This is a silent attack. It's a sneak attack. It's strategic. And they didn't plan this out to a T. So, anywho, guys, like I said, y'all be safe, man. I appreciate all those been supporting the channel and everything. Please continue to do so. Without y'all, we not possible, right? And y'all, make sure y'all in Telegram. Make sure y'all spreading, passing the information along, man. Send me stuff if you got it. I always take a look at stuff when I can. If not, Miss Black Barbie might get a hold to it and she'll get it to me if it's important information. All right, guys, y'all be safe. I'll catch you on the next video.
There are pockets of resistance all around the planet. We've been fighting a long time. If you're listening to this, you're not alone.